Sometimes you need to disappear for a while to rediscover who you truly are. Think about that for a second. In a world where everyone's constantly showing up and trying to prove something, it might feel strange to step away and focus on yourself. But let me tell you, there is incredible power in disappearing and taking time to transform. Today we're going to explore how you can do just that, how to step back, focus on your personal growth, and return stronger, more confident, and more aligned with the person you want to be. This isn't about running away or avoiding life. It's about creating the space you need to become who you truly are, without the distractions or pressures from the outside world. I know this might sound a little unconventional, but trust me, sometimes the best way to find yourself is to give yourself time and room to grow. And when you come back, whether it's to your work, your relationships, or even just your day-to-day life, you'll be amazed at the person you've become. If you're ready to find out how disappearing for a while can help you become the person you've always wanted to be, this video is for you. Let's get started. Number 1, control your words. It might sound simple, but trust me, it's a game changer. The way you handle what you say or don't say can determine how successful you'll be in transforming your life. How often do you find yourself talking about the things you're going to do? You tell your friends about your big plans, your family about your dreams, maybe even post about it on social media. It feels good, doesn't it? Sharing your ideas makes you feel like you're already halfway there. But here's the truth, every time you speak about your plans prematurely, you lose a little bit of the energy you need to make them happen. Let me explain what I mean. When you talk about your goals too much, you create a sense of false accomplishment. Your brain starts to believe you've already done the hard work because you've shared it out loud. But what happens next? You spent all that energy talking instead of doing. You've traded real progress for a fleeting moment of validation. Now, I'm not saying you should never share anything. What I'm saying is this: be selective. Protect your words like you would protect your most valuable treasure. Think about it. Would you leave your wallet or your phone out in the open for anyone to take? Of course not. So why would you do that with your plans and dreams? When you control your words, you take back control of your focus and your energy. You're not scattering your ideas all over the place. Instead, you're keeping them close, giving them the time and space they need to grow. That's where real transformation begins. Let me tell you a little secret about successful people: they talk less and do more. You'll rarely hear them bragging about their next move or spilling every detail of their plans. Why? Because they understand the power of silence. They know that actions speak louder than words, and they let their results do the talking. You don't need to announce your goals to the world to make them real. You don't need everyone's approval to get started. In fact, the fewer people who know what you're up to, the better. When you work quietly, you're free from the noise and distractions of other people's opinions. You can focus entirely on the work that needs to be done. Think about this: every time you share your plans, you're inviting feedback, questions, and sometimes even criticism. Not everyone will understand your vision, and that's okay. But if you're constantly seeking validation or trying to explain yourself, you'll waste valuable energy that could be spent on achieving your goals. Now, I know this isn't easy. We all crave connection and encouragement. It's natural to want someone to say, "Wow, that's an amazing idea," or "You're really going places." But here's the thing: you don't need their validation. The only approval you need is your own. When you stop looking for external validation, something incredible happens. You start to trust yourself more. You start to believe in your own ability to make things happen without needing a pat on the back from someone else. That's where confidence comes from, not from what other people think, but from what you know you're capable of. So how do you put this into practice? It starts with being mindful of what you say and who you say it to. Before you share something, take a moment to ask yourself, is this necessary? Will sharing this help me, or is it just a way to feel good in the moment? If the answer isn't clear, it's probably better to keep it to yourself. And when you do share, be selective. Choose people who genuinely want to see you succeed, people who will support you without judgment or distraction. These are the ones who will give you honest feedback when you need it and cheer you on when times get tough. But even then, remember to keep some things just for yourself. There's a certain power in privacy. When you keep your plans close, you're not just protecting them from others, you're also protecting them from your own doubts and second guessing. You're giving yourself the freedom to focus, to experiment, and to grow without any unnecessary pressure. Let me tell you, when you start controlling your words, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel more focused, more energized, and more in control of your life. You'll stop worrying about what other people think and start focusing on what really matters: your progress, your growth, and your transformation. And here's the beautiful part: when you let your actions speak for themselves, people will notice. You won't have to say a word. They'll see the results of your hard work and wonder how you did it. That's the kind of recognition that truly matters, the kind that comes from what you've achieved, not from what you've promised. So the next time you feel the urge to share your plans, take a moment to pause. Think about what you're giving away when you speak, and what you could gain by staying silent. Remember, every word you hold back is energy you can put into action. This is the first step to disappearing and transforming yourself. Control your words. Protect your focus, preserve your energy, and let your results do the talking. Because in the end, it's not what you say that matters, it's what you do. Now, I want you to take this idea with you. Reflect on it. Start practicing it today and watch how it changes your life. Remember, transformation doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice. And this is one of the most powerful choices you can make. Number 2, focus on self-approval. What you think of yourself is far more important than what others think of you. And it's true, completely true. We live in a world that encourages us to seek approval from everyone else. Whether it's through likes on social media, praise from a boss, or compliments from friends, we've been trained to crave validation from the outside. But let me tell you, relying on other people to feel good about yourself is like building a house on sand. It's unstable, unpredictable, and it won't last. If you really want to transform yourself, you've got to learn to value your own approval above anyone else's. That means becoming your own biggest fan, your own source of encouragement, and your own voice of reason. It's about knowing deep down that you are enough just as you are, and that you're capable of becoming whoever you want to be. Now, let me be clear, self-approval doesn't mean thinking you're perfect or ignoring your flaws. It means accepting who you are right now, your strengths, your weaknesses, all of it, and deciding that you're worthy anyway. It's about believing in your ability to grow and improve, while still appreciating who you are today. So how do you start? First, you've got to stop basing your worth on other people's opinions. This is a tough habit to break, but it's crucial. Every time you catch yourself waiting for someone to validate you, pause and ask yourself, why am I looking outside when the answer is inside? Reflect on your own thoughts. Are you proud of what you've done? Do you feel good about your choices? If the answer is yes, that's all the approval you need. One great way to practice this is by celebrating your wins, no matter how small they might seem. Did you finish a project at work? Celebrate it. Did you stick to your goals today? Acknowledge it. You don't need a big round of applause or a pat on the back from someone else. You can give that to yourself. Trust me, those little celebrations add up, and they'll build your confidence over time. And let's not forget about setting boundaries. When you're always chasing other people's approval, it's easy to say yes to things you don't actually want to do. But when you start valuing your own approval, you'll realize it's okay to say no. It's okay to prioritize your goals, your needs, and your happiness. In fact, it's necessary. You might wonder, what about criticism? Because let's face it, when you stop living for others, criticism is bound to come your way. Here's how you handle it. Listen to what's being said, and then ask yourself if there's any truth to it. If there is, use it to grow. If there isn't, let it roll off your back. Either way, don't let it shake your belief in yourself. Remember, not everyone will understand your choices or agree with your path, and that's perfectly okay. You're not here to make everyone happy. You're here to live a life that feels right to you. One of the most freeing realizations you can have is that you can't please everyone, and that's not your job anyway. When you stop relying on external validation, something incredible happens. You start to feel more confident and at peace. You stop second-guessing yourself because you know you're making choices that align with who you are. And the best part, when you truly approve of yourself, other people often start to notice. They'll respect your confidence, your self-respect, and your authenticity. But by then, you won't even need their approval because you've already given it to yourself. So here's my challenge to you: start focusing on self-approval today. The next time you catch yourself looking for validation, stop and turn inward. Ask yourself, am I proud of who I am and what I'm doing? If you are, then that's enough. Celebrate your wins, learn from your setbacks, and keep moving forward. What you think of yourself is far more important than what others think of you. Hold on to that. Make it your guiding principle. Because at the end of the day, the only person you need to impress is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Just believe in yourself. Approve of yourself. You've got everything you need within you. Trust it, act on it, and never forget you're worth it. Now go show yourself what you're capable of. Number 3, guard your plans like treasure. When you think about your dreams and goals, how often do you share those plans with others? It's tempting, isn't it? You want to tell someone what you're working on and what you're hoping to build. Maybe it feels exciting to share, or maybe you're looking for validation or encouragement. But here's what I've learned: there's power in keeping your plans to yourself, guarding them like treasure. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not about hiding or being secretive for the sake of it. It's about understanding how precious your dreams are and treating them with the care they deserve. When you share your plans too early or with too many people, you expose them to unnecessary risks, judgment, criticism, even doubt. And the last thing you need when you're working towards something meaningful is a cloud of negativity hanging over you. Think of your goals as seeds. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to show it to everyone. You protect it. You water it. You make sure it gets enough sunlight. And over time, with care and patience, it grows into something incredible. But if you expose it too soon, before it's had a chance to take root, it can wither away. Your dreams work the same way. One of the biggest reasons to guard your plans is that not everyone will see your vision the way you do. Some people might not understand it. Others might not believe in it. And that's okay, they don't have to. Your vision is yours. It's not their job to understand it or believe in it. It's your job to nurture it and bring it to life. When you start telling everyone what you're working on, you might hear things like, "That's not realistic," or "Are you sure you can pull that off?" Those comments can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. And even if you're confident, those doubts can linger. They can slow you down or make you question yourself. That's why it's so important to keep your plans close, especially in the early stages. But let's be real, it's not always easy to keep things to yourself. Sometimes you're excited. Sometimes you want support. And that's okay too. If you need to share, choose your audience wisely. Share with people who you know will uplift you, people who have your best interests at heart. But even then, share sparingly. You don't need to give away every detail. Protecting your plans also helps you focus. When you're not constantly explaining yourself to others, you have more energy to put into the work that matters. You can spend less time worrying about what other people think and more time building the life you want. It's like cutting out distractions so you can zero in on what's truly important. Another reason to guard your plans is that action speaks louder than words. There's a sense of satisfaction in quietly working on something and then letting the results speak for themselves. When you achieve your goal, people will see the hard work you've put in. And trust me, that moment is far more powerful than any conversation about what you're going to do. Guarding your plans also gives you a sense of control. It's your dream, your journey, your process. When you keep it to yourself, you get to decide how and when it unfolds. You're not at the mercy of other people's timelines or expectations. You're steering the ship, and that's exactly how it should be. But here's something else to think about. When you guard your plans, you're also building discipline. You're learning to trust yourself and your vision. You're practicing patience, which is a skill that will serve you in every area of your life. It's not about rushing to the finish line, it's about building something that lasts, something you can be proud of. Now, let me be clear, this isn't about living in isolation or shutting people out. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that your dreams are worth protecting. It's about understanding that the less noise you have around you, the more clarity you'll have to do the work that really matters. So here's what I want you to do. Take a moment to think about the goals you have, the things you're working toward. Ask yourself, am I sharing too much? Am I inviting unnecessary opinions into my space? If the answer is yes, it's time to pull back. It's time to refocus and remind yourself that your journey is your own. And when you do feel the urge to share, pause for a moment. Ask yourself why you want to share. Is it because you're looking for validation? If so, remember that the only validation you need is your own. Is it because you're excited? That's great. Channel that excitement into your work. Let it fuel you to keep going. Your plans are like a sacred blueprint for the life you want to create. Treat them with the respect they deserve. Guard them, nurture them, and watch them grow into something extraordinary. And when the time is right, when your work is done, you can share the results with the world. By then, you won't need to explain yourself. Your success will speak for itself. So protect your dreams. Keep your plans close to your heart. Trust the process. And remember, this is your journey. You get to decide how it unfolds. Stay focused, stay determined, and keep moving forward. You've got this. Number 4, progress in silence. Progress in silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use to transform your life. It's not about secrecy or avoiding people, it's about prioritizing the work over the talk. Too often, we fall into the trap of announcing every little thing we're working on, hoping for applause or encouragement. But the truth is, your results will always speak louder than your words ever could. When you're constantly telling everyone what you're going to do, you're spending energy that could be used to actually get the work done. You might feel like you've accomplished something just by saying it out loud, but really all you've done is make noise. Progress happens when you put your head down and focus. It happens when you stop talking about the climb and start making the climb. Working in silence also shields you from distractions. When you keep your progress to yourself, you avoid the opinions and unsolicited advice that come with sharing your journey too early. People might mean well, but their input can sometimes throw you off course. It might make you second-guess your decisions or question your methods. But when you stay quiet and stay focused, you create a space where your only competition is yourself. That's where real growth happens. Silence isn't just about avoiding distractions, though. It's about building a deep connection with your work. When you're not looking for validation from others, you start to trust your own instincts more. You learn to listen to yourself, to understand what's working and what isn't. You're not constantly looking outward for approval, you're looking inward for improvement. Progress in silence also keeps you humble. When you're not constantly seeking attention for your efforts, you stay grounded. You stay focused on the process rather than the praise. And that's important because the process is what shapes you. The work you do in the quiet moments when no one else is watching, that's what builds character. That's what builds strength. Now, let's talk about patience, because working in silence requires it. You won't see results overnight, and that's okay. Transformation is a slow process. It's about putting in the work day after day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. It's about trusting that every small step you take is bringing you closer to your goal. Here's the thing, when you progress in silence, you give yourself the freedom to make mistakes. You're not performing for anyone else, so you don't have to worry about what people will think if you stumble. You can learn, adapt, and grow without the pressure of an audience. And that's incredibly liberating. But let me be clear, this doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself completely. It's okay to have a small circle of trusted people who support you and hold you accountable. The key is to be selective. Share your progress with those who genuinely want to see you succeed, who will encourage you without judgment. When you finally do achieve your goal, the silence you've maintained will make the victory even sweeter. There's something incredibly satisfying about revealing your progress through results rather than words. It's like planting a garden and letting the flowers bloom on their own. When people see the results of your hard work, they'll know you've been busy, even if you haven't been saying a word. Let's also talk about the confidence that comes from working in silence. Every step you take without needing external validation strengthens your belief in yourself. It teaches you that you don't need applause to keep going. You don't need an audience to be successful. All you need is your own determination and the discipline to keep moving forward. One of the biggest challenges you'll face is the urge to share. It's natural to want to tell people what you're up to, especially when you're excited about your progress. But here's a tip when you feel that urge. Take a moment to ask yourself why. Are you looking for validation? Are you seeking encouragement? If the answer is yes, remind yourself that the only validation you need is your own. Remember, silence isn't about avoiding connection, it's about protecting your focus. It's about creating a space where you can work without interruption, where you can pour your energy into what really matters. It's about valuing your journey enough to keep it sacred. So the next time you're tempted to announce your plans or share your progress, pause for a moment. Ask yourself if it's really necessary. More often than not, you'll find that it's better to keep going quietly. Use your energy for the work, not the talk. Let your actions do the speaking. By progressing in silence, you give yourself the gift of uninterrupted growth. You create a space where you can thrive without the noise of external opinions. You learn to trust yourself, to focus on the work, and to stay patient. And when the time comes to reveal what you've achieved, your results will say everything that needs to be said. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and remember, the quiet work you do today is building the future you've been dreaming of. Keep going. You're on the right path. Number 5, build strength through challenges. Life is full of challenges, and it's easy to see them as obstacles, things that stand in the way of where you want to go. But those challenges and struggles are not just there to test you. They're there to build you. Strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop. And the only way to build real strength is by facing what's hard, by stepping into the fire instead of running away from it. Think about it. When you go to the gym, what do? You lift weights, right? And what happens when you lift weights? Your muscles break down so they can grow back stronger. It's the same in life. The challenges you face might feel like they're breaking you, but they're actually preparing you for something bigger. They're shaping you into someone stronger, someone more capable, someone ready for what's ahead. Now, I know it's not easy. When life throws something tough your way, the first instinct is to avoid it, to look for an escape. But avoiding challenges doesn't make them disappear. It just delays the lesson they're trying to teach you. The truth is, every struggle has a purpose. It's there to teach you patience, to make you resilient, to show you what you're truly capable of. The question isn't whether or not you'll face challenges. You will. The real question is, how will you respond? Let me tell you, the strongest people you know didn't get that way by having an easy life. They've been through storms. They faced setbacks, failures, and heartbreaks. What sets them apart is that they didn't let those things defeat them. They used them as stepping stones. They didn't let fear of failure stop them from moving forward. Instead, they learned from every misstep, every disappointment. They understood that every challenge was an opportunity to grow. When you're in the middle of something hard, it's easy to focus on the pain, the discomfort. But here's what you need to remember. Pain is temporary, but the strength you gain from overcoming it lasts forever. Each time you push through a tough situation, you're building a foundation for future success. You're proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought possible. Challenges aren't always what they seem. Sometimes what feels like a setback is really a setup for something better.
Click here for part 2.